We're going to be talking about how we regulate sugar metabolism, just the basics, in our body. So we're going to talk about two major hormones. We're going to talk about insulin, and we're going to talk about glucagon. Okay, we'll start with glucagon. So the way I remember glucagon is the end of it, right? Gone. So the sugar that was in my cell, right? Sugar in my cell, it's going to be gone, right? I'm going to get that sugar out. I'm going to mobilize it out of the cell, okay? And so I take that sugar, I'm mobilizing it, I'm bringing it out, and so its action is to increase blood sugar, okay? And it does this mobilization in a number of ways, but one of the big ways is it's going to break down glycogen, right? Because we store up our extra glucose in glycogen. And so glucagon is going to help us break that down so that we can release more. It's also going to promote these processes that get the sugar out of the cell. So it's going to promote transport as well. Insulin is a little bit more complicated, at least for what we're going to cover today. So insulin, right, I think of it as insulin. So the action is going to be bringing sugar in and decreasing our blood sugar. Okay, so we've got my cell, okay, and the sugar is going into the cell. Okay, but a reminder, and especially if you watch my cellular transport video, right, for the cell, my plasma membrane, right, the sugar molecule is a little bit too big, right? It's too big to be able to get through the plasma membrane. And so what we need is we need a transporter, okay? And we have the glucose transporter. And there's a number of different glucose transporters, and their sensitivity to insulin is going to be a little different. But in order to get the glucose in, we need to have a transporter on the plasma membrane. There is not always glucose transporters at the plasma membrane. We don't always need to be bringing sugar in. Our sugar might be at the level that we already need it at. So what we do to regulate it is we're going to put the glucose transporter in little vesicles. We're going to sequester them. Okay? So we sequester the glucose transporters so that we only have them when we need them. Well, how do we know when we need them? What we can have is we're going to have our insulin receptor. So the insulin receptor is sitting on the top. And when insulin binds to it, right, so it's bound to it, it's going to cause a reaction in the cell, right? And so that cellular reaction will cause that glucose transporter to be brought up to the plasma membrane and fuse and incorporate it into the membrane so we can bring the glucose in. And this is sort of what tells us the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So in type 1, right, this insulin is not present, okay? It's not present because the cells that produce the insulin are being eaten, for lack of better terms, by the immune system. The immune system is destroying these cells, and so we are not making insulin, and so this whole process is not occurring, okay? In type 2 is everything inside here, right? Even the production of that glucose transporter, right? So type 2 diabetes is my cells are not responding to the insulin at the rate that it should be. It's not doing the process that it's being told to do, okay? So that's why we refer to that as insulin resistant. And this is why, right, there's different treatments. So type 1 diabetes, I can give a pump of insulin or shots of insulin to get that process going again. And for type 2, because there's so many different little processes on the inside, there's so many different little medications that I can give to promote those processes that are not working. Not all of them are going to work this exact same way, but they can help. Anyway, I hope this helps you with your understanding of sugar metabolism.